So the primary challenges facing IT programmers and system administrators today are that the environments that we're running, these IT systems, have become so complex and so dynamic now with things like virtualization that they tend to fail more often. They're also quite a bit more prone to attack and vulnerabilities, and they're a lot more difficult just to audit and understand the behavior of. So for anybody who's a system administrator, a network engineer, a developer who might be supporting a complex application after they've built it, these are incredibly complex and dynamic environments now that present a lot more challenges. So IT search is a new way to think about managing the data center, especially these complex dynamic data centers. And it's the realization that the machines and the technology and the applications within the data center are generating a huge amount of information that people need to do their jobs. So if I'm a system administrator, I need to look at log files from servers, from applications, from the network in order to troubleshoot problems. If I'm a security analyst, and I think my network is under attack, I need a lot of information from IPS scanners, IDS scanners, from my firewall logs in order to figure out, is this a real attack, and how do I contain it? How far has it gone? So the notion of IT search is really, it's the manifestation of the fact that these environments have grown so large and so complex and produce so much information that humans can't interact with this information anymore by grepping through files, going from machine to machine, and the application of search, just like we did on the internet, to the data center provides incredible power and access to information much more quickly. So when we think about where IT search can be applied, and we look at the people that have downloaded our software and what they use it for, we've had about 250,000 people download our software in the last 2 years. They can use it for free, and we look at what they've actually applied it to. Where we started was just the finding the needle in a haystack. Something is failing. It's not obvious because it's not a single component, like a router is down, or the fan died in my server, or something like that. It's actually a complex failure where it's the interaction between several different components in my environment that are now operating in a state that they've never been tested in before. And finding those types of problems is really, really difficult. So one of the highest priority areas for IT search is just being able to find that needle in a haystack, because when your website goes down, the clock on the wall is ticking and every minute counts. If you're being attacked, the clock is ticking and every minute counts, because it could be data, important data, being siphoned off from your applications and your network as time goes by. So who uses IT search? It usually starts in an organization with a system administrator, a developer, a network engineer who applies it to a specific problem. So maybe I've got 1,500 different servers in a complex IT environment, and I'm responsible for managing them and making sure they're patched properly and making sure the operating systems are working properly. Inevitably, I've got failures that I need to deal with, and searching through the logs on those machines, the configurations on those machines, is a great application of IT search. So usually that's where we start within an infrastructure. Now, what's interesting about IT search is you no longer have these silos between different tools, because IT search can take any kind of data in, and it doesn't really concern itself with what the format of the data is. Just like a search engine on the web can index any website. It doesn't really matter where it is or what kind of technology it's using. A good search engine can index any website. What that means is IT search can quickly spread beyond just the person who is managing the servers to the person managing the networks, the person managing the applications, the person who's securing the environment, and we can finally start knocking down some of these silos between the tools, and in return silos between the people and the jobs that they're doing. And that's ultimately the real power of this inside of a large IT organization, is to get people working more effectively together. Today, the cost of operating IT environments is skyrocketing. If you look at the economic environment that we're in today, I don't see any IT budgets expanding, so it presents real challenges for enterprises to keep things running. So what does the future hold for Splunk and for IT search? It's really the application of IT search to all of the new problems in the data center. So virtualization is an area where we're very focused today, because people bring up virtualization environments in production, and they're very difficult to manage. They're very difficult. Guest operating systems and applications come and go, and keeping track of what's happened at the hypervisor layer is not all that difficult, right? There are good tools for doing that from VMware, from Microsoft, from Citrix, but what gets more challenging is I'm the owner of an application running in a virtualized environment, and my application all of a sudden is not responding or it's slow. What do? Well, I really need to look at not only my host application environment, but I need to look at the guest operating system, the underlying host environment, how the hypervisor has been configured for me. I may need to look at the underlying network because my transactions for my application are going through all these tiers of technology. So what we do is we focus on bringing all of that data together so that people can search it from one place and very quickly pinpoint the problems and figure out what's going on. Beyond virtualization, what's next for IT search are new areas like green computing. People are very concerned with how much power their data centers are consuming today. And it's reasonably easy for somebody to walk up to a rack in a data center today and say, here's how much power this rack uses. But we don't manage data centers based on racks. We manage data centers by service or by application. So what I really want to know is that CRM application that we run, how much power does that use every 24 hours? Well, that data is all sitting in the logs of the APC devices, the servers, and the applications running the CRM system. If I had the ability to collect them and correlate them all and search them in real time, I could actually figure out how much power that application uses every 24 hours. The application of IT search to producing information for things like virtualization and green computing is really where we see the future.